Happy Friday, Mike Larson, Allen Realtors here today to talk about a term that is used in real estate a lot that I find buyers and sellers quite often do not understand or they don't know what it is, and that term is earnest money. Earnest money is a it's a monetary deposit made by a buyer into typically a trust account held by the escrow company that's handling the transaction. But it's a deposit, a monetary deposit that demonstrates a buyer's sincerity or their earnestness, as the name implies, to purchase a property. Typically, it's 1 or 2% of the purchase price. It's applied toward the purchase at closing, and it's returned to the buyer in the event that there's a legal or contractual reason for the buyer not to proceed. Okay. Every transaction has earnest money, and from the buyer's perspective, they want it to, again, to demonstrate the seriousness or the sincerity of their offer. But it rarely has to be more than 1 or 2 or even 3% of the purchase price. There are conditions a buyer has. Typically, there's an inspection contingency. Typically, there's a financing contingency. There are conditions that need to be met that are included in the agreement that allow the buyer to not proceed unless those conditions are met or those contingencies are waived. If the financing part of this is approved, and that is that the seller can provide clear title, and that the appraisal comes in at value, then the financing contingency will more than likely be approved. On the inspection side, typically a buyer has a week or so to do an inspection. If they approve the inspection, then that they proceed. If they disapprove the inspection, then the earnest money deposit would be returned back to them. From the seller's side, the earnest money is important. And I always ask sellers when we're talking about earnest money, I'll say, okay, the purchase price is $400,000. Their earnest money is $5,000. And I ask, is that amount enough to make you feel whole in the event that the buyer fails to perform on this contract? And if the answer is no, then we'll ask for more earnest money. Stated a different way, if the purchase price is $400,000 and the earnest money is $100, it's a whole lot easier for that buyer to walk away from the deal and lose $100 than it is to lose $5,000. So earnest money is an important part of every agreement. And if you have questions specifically about earnest money disputes are a whole nother video topic. So we'll get into that some other time. But earnest money is an important part of every transaction. I'd be happy to talk about it more with you. It's going to wrap it up for this week. Go Hawks on Sunday and have a great weekend. Okay, bye-bye.